Hello everybody, this is Neo Belmont with a new video. Well, recently, as of today, Netflix has released a new trailer for the upcoming Castlevania Nocturne anime, and I want to share my thoughts, opinions, and some of the things that I saw in the trailer that piqued my interest, essentially. And with that being said, let's begin. Okay, so in the beginning of the trailer, we see an individual with the Belmont emblem being shown on their back, as well as the vampire killer being hoisted, in their holster on their right hip. With the clothes, one would think Richter, but it's actually someone new entirely. It's a new Belmont and his mother, and that's really interesting because we haven't had a female Belmont since Sonia. Now, while all this is happening, Richter is witnessing the whole fight at hand between his mother and the vampire, and it's actually pretty interesting from what I saw in the trailer, because she seems to have the whole Belmont arsenal, whip, silver dagger, and even something new, like a pocket flamethrower, which honestly that's pretty cool to me. Want to see more cool new that could be a new sub weapon. And honestly, that's what got me interested, because they're not just going to use Rondo and Symphony in the way we expect. I'm open enough to see where this interpretation can go. As Mama Belmont is fighting the vampire, she does eventually die in a puddle of her own blood, and this tall guy, which from my understanding is supposedly Count Orlox from Symphony of the Night. I'm gonna watch the show and wait for official confirmation, but from what little I've seen on the internet, that's who I told it was. It could be someone completely different. So I'm just gonna wait and watch the series and see how it unfolds. And in the trailer, he's telling him, he could off Richter in a second, but he didn't. So we'll see how this whole pretty much tragedy affects Richter's mind on being a vampire hunter. So next we got some of the characters. I really like this shot. This is one of my favorite shots in the entire trailer with Maria. And the thing about Maria is, in my opinion, she always represented hope in the Castlevania universe. She is very much the I guess that light in the darkness. And here it seems that with everything that's happening, with the series being set in the French Revolution, she may not be that bright, cheery-eyed girl that she was in the original game in Rondo, or even the girl that might have been a little bit naive but still had faith, that was portrayed in Dracula X Chronicles. So here she might be someone who's wiser beyond their years with everything that's happening. Next we have another character who I don't know, but in the trailer I saw rocks levitating, and if you see really quickly in the still image, it looks almost like rain is bouncing off this individual. I don't know who they are yet, but they might have an interesting side story. And then we're left with Richter. Looks like he was running through a forest, and here we are. He's in the pretty much in the moonlight, and he is not having a good day. I don't know what's happening, how it's happening, but my heart goes out for Richter. I don't know how they're going to portray him. He seems to be having a very big life crisis. So I don't know how that's going to lead up into the later series, and I don't know if he's going to get more courage or get over this or accept it, but Well, we'll see. Either way, in the trailer, he was under a lot of distress. And next was this vampire lady, which honestly, I don't know who it is. It could be anyone. No doubt a new character, right? The first thing that came to my mind was Marie Antoinette, but if I recall, she was beheaded, but who knows? Castlevania can do a whole lot of stuff, and, you know, I mean, they did use Vlad Tepes, you know, I mean, he's Dracula, but maybe they want to use another historical figure potentially as a vampire, or, you know, I mean, I doubt it can be like Elizabeth Bathory. I mean, we don't know, I don't know, but if it is Marie, consider me shocked. I mean, it does fit right. It is the French Revolution, and I think she died in, like, what, 1793? Something crazy like that. I did look it up a little bit, but I can't remember since it was, like, you know, off the top of my head. Next, we have the Vampire Ball. This was a really cool scene. I'm not sure if anyone has watched the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman, but it definitely gave me those kind of vibes, and I wonder if they're honestly going to be taken out the same way with some kind of sunlight weapon that just totally evaporates them in like one go. That would be hilarious. Next is a new character. I have some screenshots of her, but she was talking about one of the vampires and how they act and their purpose and what they do, and I'm like, who is this? Definitely much older, so she may be the mentor character. And we got some screenshots going into the battle section, some pertaining her in it. So let's go on. Next, we have to see what seems to be a underground prison or cell, maybe dungeon, with one of the new characters fighting against one of the new villains, and they seem to be very I like the placement of the foot. You can tell the weight, but you can also tell, like, I feel like the control they had or the balance, and they are fighting a vampire who was also in the trailer, and you know, it was very quick. This is again one of my favorites. Maria is shown to be probably one of my favorite parts of the whole trailer, because everything about her has been looking really like 100% conversion from the games. Here she's summoning Byakko. And if Byako's being summoned, hopefully we can see an appearance by the other three beasts, you know, Genbu, Suzaku, Seiryu, because for those that are not in the know, Maria can summon like the four animal gods of like the four directions, north, east, south, and west, from like Chinese myth. I use their Japanese names, but yeah, canon-wise, Maria's actually really strong, and I can't wait to see how they incorporate the other three animals. Here we have a beast, a monster going, what looks like they're gonna swipe the head off the new character, but quickly that's shown to be wrong as they end up attacking a monster behind them. And looking at the design, it looks like an innocent devil. So I'm wondering what this character's relationship is with the monster, because what if they're like a descendant of Isaac or something? That it's a possibility, and we don't know. Next is another Maria scene, and here she seems to be channeling something, probably another sacred beast, before what looks like being surprised by main vampire villain. I'm going to assume she's going to be the head villain of the series. And, well, she's ready to shank Maria, like, no problem. And that's pretty much it. Next picture is actually it's pretty cool. So, Maria is actually using her birds as a main method of attack. she has her two little, robins, which is actually one of her sub-weapons. She uses that to summon Suzaku as her item crash. And from what it looks like, she'll have control over them almost manually. Like she treating that thing like it's a Wii remote or something, And you can see her having pretty much very clear control over it, and it is going to do some damage. And then after that, we see Richter getting ready to just punch a fool, because he got that dog in him. So there's no problem with the series is going to uphold its sense of brutality. Then next, going back to the character I was talking about before, she's using ice magic, and on top of that, she has a very light blue color scheme, very similar to Sypha. So what I'm guessing is after Richter's mom was murdered, essentially, she probably either took him in and taught him, or this is someone that they visit upon the way, Auntie Belmonts essentially. And from what it looks like, she can throw hands just as easily, and she's ready to go against these monsters. And she is having, from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be a very kinetic kind of action, very fast pace. I would say in some ways even better than the previous seasons. Next, we go to a crying Richter, which I don't know what's happening with Richter, man, but like he needs a hug or something. When I saw this, I would say my heart kind of sank, because this isn't the Richter that I'm associated with. So to see him like this, it just makes me wonder what is exactly happening, and it gives me the idea that this is going to be a very emotional journey, and a lot of bad things are going to happen, a lot of hurtful things. And then quickly after that, we see people, put his hands on Richter. What I'm assuming is the Belmont name went back to power after some time. And if I'm correct, Belmont is a French name, so I have no doubt that people may want to have a head of a Belmont. They may want to destroy the clan again. But, that's not going to happen, because the next thing Richter's going through this transformation. And at first, I'm like, is it just an explosion of energy? But if you look at the frames, it slowly zooms out very slowly. And you see him, his body doing basically a cross pose. And to me, this is it. This is it. That's the Grand Cross. The item crash. It's one of Richter's most, famous moves. And the fact that they're incorporating that in the anime this way is very interesting. It makes me wonder if he's going to incorporate his other item crashes. One of the final things I want to show is the eclipse. The eclipse, if you looking upon it, because it was very quick, but there's a lot of bats, and I'm going to assume vampires, and this is where the Nocturne name is coming in, and I can't help but wonder what's going to happen. Is it going to be like eternal eclipse, eternal night? Are they going to go that route where the vampires won't need to worry about the sun anymore? Are they just going to block it out with an eternal, solar eclipse? There's so many things, and how they're going to do that. Is Dracula going to be needed? Is he not going to be needed at all, since we know he had a happy ending with Lisa in the last season? And then finally, we're left out as it shows almost like a 3D image. It didn't look 2D, but it just showed a Richter, and to me, he's just looking at the screen, but he looked very blank, like he was not there. So I don't know what's going to happen to him. A lot of questions, and I just want to see how this series will go. That's about it. That's all that I have to say. I'm very hyped for the series. I'm also very open-minded because I want to see where this interpretation or adaptation of the series goes. I know with the Castlevania anime, I know there's a lot of heated debate on the adaptation or how certain characters are used or certain characters being left out. Just so many different things that not everyone's agreeing on. I've seen the conversations online myself of the likes and dislikes of the series. Me, it's Castlevania, and I just want to have an open mind and see what the potential is in the future, and this trailer really piqued my interest. Things that I really liked, I'm liking the main cast. I like the story setup. Maria really looks like Maria. It's crazy. Like, they got her 100%. I just want to see more in the series how her personality will be. And when there's more of an update, I'll make a video on it. It's going to come out in September, which isn't too far away. And again, I'm very open-minded, and I can't wait to see how it progresses. This is Neo signing out, and everybody have a good night.